Hello, my name is Maria Caro and I am part of the SoftSmile team. Today we're going to be covering a few topics. We're going to cover the process of delegating or outsourcing cases to SoftSmile within the portal, and also I'll cover how we assign different parts of the process to different personnel within our own organization. Then we'll go over using and interpreting different case statuses allocated within the portal, as well as how to navigate different versions of the treatment plan that can be viewed again or rolled back, meaning we can keep a previous treatment design as the approved version to move forward with the patient's treatment if we had several versions or several possibilities of treatment. And then we will go over the web-based editing option, which is new, allowing you to access the case and make changes to that case from any computer or any location. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so you should be seeing my screen with all the patients, and so we're going to cover the assigning the case to SoftSmile. So I'm going to select the case that I've already created. If you guys need to go through the process of creating a case, we do have another video of that within our YouTube channel, so check that one out. So I'm going to select the case that I've created, which I basically entered the patient's information and uploaded the STL file. So now we have to assign the case to SoftSmile. How do we do that? We're going to go to the bottom button under all the assignees, and we're going to click Assign to SoftSmile. Pop-up window shows up. You have the option to select either Setup, which includes pre-processing and setup, which is the entire design of the case, or Setup and Export, which means we pre-process, we do the design, we post-process and export the files. Once you've completed making your selection, click on Apply, and then you can see immediately the SoftSmile was successfully assigned. Great. Now in the assignees, you can already see that it was auto-populated for pre-processing, setup, and post-processing. The next step is we have to assign the doctor review. So we're going to click on Edit, and then we're going to browse to Doctor Review and make the selection of who will be reviewing or requesting changes to the case if needed. So we'll browse for our doctor or maybe an internal person within the organization, and then select and click Save. And that's all we have to do to assign the case to SoftSmile. So next, what we'll do is go over how do we assign different personnel to different stages of the process within our own organization. Okay, so now we are browsing for the case that, again, I did create already. So we're going to select that case that has our STL files and patient information set up. All we have to go and do is click on the Edit button for assignees and then begin to assign the different personnel to each different stage. So in the pre-processing stage, you will browse for the user that will handle the pre-processing of the case. And the reason why this is important is because we've automated the notification process. So the idea here is that when the first person finishes the first part of the production stage, and then we will automatically email the second person or third person that is in charge of each stage. So as soon as the pre-processing is done, an automatic email goes out to the second person that is handling the setup. And then consecutively after that, once the setup is complete, then we will email automatically the doctor or the person that will review the case and request changes or make approvals. Then we'll go ahead and select the post-processing. And again, that person will also get the email. As soon as the review has been approved, it automatically goes out and the case automatically enters that post-processing stage. So it's important because this helps automate that communication within departments. There's no wondering when the case was done. It automatically notified the person in charge of the next stage as soon as the previous is completed. So once we've made the selection of the team members that will handle each stage, we'll click on Save. And you can see that now everyone has been assigned to each stage. So that is how we can go ahead and assign different personnel within our own organization. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about, what the statuses of each case represents and how they're viewed. So as you can see here, we have several different cases at different stages or statuses. So for example, when a case is created, it means the information of the patient and the STL files or any images or x-rays are being uploaded into the system. Then the second stage is the pre-processing. So pre-processing is the axis orientation, model preparation, evaluation of gum and gingiva, and defining root axis. Following that, we have the setup stage. So the setup is in green, and then the setup entails the task of the overall treatment design, ideal tooth movements, placement of auxiliaries and attachments, bite ramps, elastics, pontics, and important is the staging of the movements and the staging of the auxiliaries, meaning we can control when a tooth will start moving in the treatment and when any of the auxiliaries will be activated or deactivated during the treatment. Next, we have doctor review. So doctor review is in red, and this task is meant for the person that will look over the presented treatment design. It requires that the assignee evaluate the case in the viewer and either approve the case or request modifications. Now, the next stage is doctor modify. So once the doctor has reviewed it the first time, then and they have requested a change, that's when we have the doctor modification option. So that is when at least one request of a modification for the treatment plan has been requested, and now it is going back and forth between designer and doctor. The next stage is the post-processing, which is in purple. And the post-processing is when the case is being prepared with labeling and numbering the models, the fixture placement, and trim line manipulation. Following the post-processing, we have the export. And export, it is in like an aquash blue. And so that identifies that the case has been exported and is ready for production. And so that's how we would interpret any of the case statuses that you see color-coded within our portal. Next, we're going to discuss how the different version of treatment plan can be reviewed or rolled back. So let's go ahead and go into our doctor review case. So this particular case, as you scroll a little bit further down from the patient information, you'll see this option called versions. And so when we open that up, we'll see that there are several versions within this treatment planning of this case. We have version 1, version 2, and a version 3. And within the notes, you can also see when the initial request or change might have happened. So we can see that initial instructions were done, then a second set of instructions, and finally a third set of instructions. So what we mean by being able to review a previous design is you simply look at the version that you want to evaluate. There are 3 bullets. You will select these 3 bullets, and then you're going to open the case in the viewer. You're going to select open in viewer with the little plus sign. The difference between one and the other is one allows you to see the approve and modify options, and then the one with the open in viewer is just allowing you to see the share link. If you wanted to share the viewer link with a colleague or the patient, you can do so. So when we want to see what this version looks like, we'll just click on open in viewer. A new tab opens. You can see we have the approve or modify options. And so this is the version 1 of this treatment. So as we scroll through, we can see that at stage 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, there are no auxiliary placements in the case. You can see what the treatment entails in terms of movement, but no auxiliaries have been placed in the case. So now let's go back and look at version 2. Again, we'll select open in viewer with the plus sign. And so now as we scroll through the case, we can see some changes from between the version 1 and version 2. So here we have an attachment placed on one of the centrals. And as we continue to scroll, that is the only change from what I saw on the first version. So let's go back now and look at the third version. So the third version doesn't have the 3 bullets because it's the newest version that has been saved, and it requires the case to be reviewed. So at this point, no changes have been requested. Changes were requested on the second version, and then the third version was created, so now the doctor has to review it. So how we do that is going to review case, and we can click into the vision viewer option. So we'll click that. And so this will be the most recent request for change or approval based on the previous request from the doctor. So in this version, as we scroll, we see the first attachment, we see a second attachment, and we're also seeing the elastics being created at aligner 5. So this is the most recent change that has been executed based on doctor request, and so now the doctor will either have to approve or again request additional changes. But that is how we can go back and view different versions of a treatment plan between the difference of a few days, and decide on what course of action we want to take. Next, we're going to cover what we were talking about a little bit earlier, the web-based editing option, which is new, that you can access the case from any location or computer and make changes to the case. So in order to do that, the case has to be in review. When we select the review, again, we have the vision viewer, which is what we just saw, but now you have this vision web editor. So this is a browser-based window that will pop open. And the great thing about this is that you do not have to have software installed on your computer, because you can use any computer from any location as long as you have internet. So we're just going to click on continue with this option. And so it'll go through the processes of opening in this limited version of the software, where you can go ahead and make changes. And when I say you can make changes, it means you can add or remove any attachments. You can go ahead and make tooth movements. And at that point, the case has had some type of modification, so you will add a few notes based on the changes that you are making, and then the case goes back to this setup for evaluation in case those changes have created additional aligners within the treatment plan. So we'll just wait for this to open. And so you do have the approve or modify buttons here, but as soon as you begin to make changes to the case, then the approve button will gray out, and it means that you will be required to add a note. So let's say that this tooth is locked because it's an implant. So as we scroll through the treatment plan, you say, oh, okay, I think I'm going to require a new attachment in a different tooth. So you can go ahead and select the tooth that you want to work with and add an attachment. Choose your attachment and place it. And like I said, immediately as you make a change, the approve button will gray out. And then you can click on modify and enter any notes that pertain to the case, and you will click send, and the case will go back into the setup evaluation. So again, you can select the tooth, add attachments, you can manipulate the tooth, you can intrude, extrude, change it in position. You can make group movements if you like. So you can go ahead and use the tools at your disposal to make the changes that you wish to make for adjustments on the case. And so again, once you've made your changes, you will go ahead and enter your notes and click send, and the case goes back into setup for evaluation. So I hope this tutorial has been helpful and gives you a peek into some of the new features as well. If you decide that you want more information or want to have a personalized demo, please go ahead and go to our website. So you can go to softsmile.com and then click on book a demo. You can fill out this quick form where it's first name, last name, information for us to reach out to you, and we will be happy to have a call and give you more information or provide a demo. We look forward to hearing from you, and hopefully you can visit us at our next webinar. Thank you again. And please feel free to reach out to us and have a demonstration. Have a great day.